Good morning and welcome to a very wet Tuesday. You are onto the program TVC Breakfast. My name is Etoma Edu.
Now, whether rain, whether shine, we're here to make sure that your morning is amazing. Good morning, Nigeria. The name is Ria Abdul, and thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us. We're here again to give you all the information you deserve to know. I'm Ibrahim Shita.
Good morning, Nigeria. I'm Olamide Odekuli. Try and stay nice and dry if you can. Thank you for choosing to spend your morning here with us on the TVC Breakfast Show.
You know, when you said wet Tuesday, I was wondering what happened on Tuesday. Sometimes you go through the hurdles of coming to the office and then you forget the moment
you just forget. Yeah.
So I just remember, you just reminded me that it rained this morning.
It's because you're on program mode.
No, but the rain as well is a whole lot.
It's a lot of rain.
Absolutely.
So please, everybody, be careful while you're driving. Do not speed because the rain is actually a whole lot. But there's a lot to talk about on the show this morning. I'm quite excited for the conversations. We're going to take you to Abuja at some point of the show, and also we're going to do the newspaper review where Olamide brings everything that is on the headlines. And then we have everything trending all around the world as well. And then once again, we'll take you to FCT. So please grab your cup of coffee, like I always say, and let's have a fantastic show. Now, we'll start with this one. According to the new data released by the National Bureau of Statistics, Nigeria's headline inflation eased to 20.12% in August 2025, down from 21.88% in July. On a month-on-month basis, inflation rose to 0.74%, down from 1.99% in July, while monthly food inflation stood at 1.65%, including ongoing pressure on food prices. Year-on-year, inflation was 12.02 percentage points, lower than 32.15 recorded in August 2024, partially due to a change in the base year, but still reflecting a slower pace of price growth. This is the inflation we're talking about, and oftentimes we've spoken about it on the show. We hear that inflation is going down, it's going up, it's going down. But at the end of the day, we do not see that it reflects to the common man. And that's the conversation that we've been having. For me, the most important is the food inflation, because we know how difficult it is. You go to the market to buy food. I'm sure, Olamide, we go to the market a whole lot. And then you are seeing the prices of tomato. You're like, God, am I just going to use watermelon and cook a soup? I know, but it's about what do you make of this? We keep hearing this, but at the end of the day, we're just wondering when it will start reflecting in the market prices and in our pockets as well.
I think we're getting very close to that point, because we've been able to stabilize the naira. Yeah. And if the naira stays stable for a while, it will keep impacting on inflation until it starts reflecting on prices. And one of the reasons why the inflation figures went down again is that little by little food prices are going down. Yeah. They are not it's not very significant right now, but it is enough to also affect the inflation rate of the country. I think we're in the right track. Just a little bit more time. And that's what a whole lot of Nigerians don't want to hear.
That is the patience that a lot of people do not want to hear. But we keep saying that it's going down, Ibrahim. But at the end of the day, these prices are they're not so significant, When you talk to a market woman, she'll tell you, the difference is very little. But at the end of the day, we keep saying inflation is coming down. We just see that the prices are not going as high as they used to, but is it really that low?
Yes, the thing is, you get to start seeing it from the macro level before it gets to the micro, aspect of it. But by the time this administration came in and then they removed the fuel subsidy, it went, skyrocketed. But recall that it was during the Buhari administration that the inflation, it got us to 2-digit inflation. And then this administration took it to like almost 30%, and then it started coming down like a parabola. And that makes a whole lot of sense because it is very unusual that when something spikes up that way and then it consistently comes down. So if you look at the exchange rate, it has been stabilized, and that's one of the contributions to the downward trend of the inflationary pressures. If you also look at the energy, pricing is also, somewhat reasonable to some extent, is also, impacting on the inflation. So overall, we are getting to see an administration that is, all the forex policy, yes, stability of forex too, because we're not having a yo-yo effect on the naira to dollar effect where we're having today is 1.5, tomorrow is 1.7. So it's been reasonably stabilized. If you ask the capital markets, they also tell you that they are making a whole lot of gains, the stock market and all of that. And then you are worried about the food inflation. That's
tell
my
you, main worry.
I do not know which market you go,
yeah.
but I know that each time I want to buy, I buy in bulk. I go to My 12, which is the #1 food market in Lagos State. I can take you guys. You know, we'll do celebrity kind of tour around. Yeah. You know, you buy tomatoes, you buy pepper. I think that you can get pepper as much as this for 1,000 naira. And I'm serious about it.
But let me tell you, Olamide, on this table, Ibrahim told us that he can cook a pot of soup for 10,000 naira.
That's why I said I'm offering to take you through My 12, and I will get you all of the things that you need, and then you cook under 10,000 naira.
Funny enough, I go to a
you can dare it.
Funny enough, I go to a Balinde market, and I'm there almost every weekend, and I do a weekly shop. But like you said, Ria, rightly, you know, these inflation statistics honestly mean nothing if they don't translate to the welfare of Nigerians on ground, to the daily realities of the petty trader, of the market woman, of the, you know, the buyers and the sellers. This is very important. I will say this though, you know, yesterday we took a story about how top Nigerian nutritionists are talking about how we have to start exploring other alternatives of protein. They're saying crayfish, they're saying insects, they're saying crayfish is expensive. So my question is this.
And they said snails too.
My question is this. It's great to see that the CBN is saying that the food inflation rates have dropped. But my question is this, and my answer rather is this: the only accurate form of knowing if these inflation rates are right is the stomach index. It's how the average Nigerian is coping.
I totally agree.
And one more thing, I will say this: it's important to note that while we are commiserating with our government with the volatile food inflation rate, what measures are being put in place to ease those stresses on us? You know what I mean? I saw a newspaper headline that read that Nigeria is losing billions in post-harvest waste.
Absolutely.
How are we going to recycle this food, renew it in such a way that we're not suffering and at the mercy of volatile inflation rate?
Ibrahim, let me say something quickly to you. You know, like I've said earlier on, when we speak about inflation, I want to get to a point that everybody feels it. Because we see often things, you see a lot of headlines, you see everything out there. But in reality, what are people facing? If you go to the streets, people are talking.
You know, everything does not end on your table, doesn't end in your tummy. It starts from, see, we can't isolate Nigeria from, you remember that we are also recovering from the shock of the pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic that impacted the global economy, even US, UK, they were almost getting into recession. Some countries have not recovered. So we needed to remove the fuel subsidy at the time. And then if you look at all of the indices, based on the things that are coming, it is not easy that you take something up and then it comes down the way it is. So one thing we need to do as per food inflation is for us to remove all the bottlenecks from, across the food value chain, taking it from the market, from the farm to the market. So you remove all of those nonsense in the midway. Talk about all these agbe rules, collecting levies here and there is impacting on food insecurity. And then that of insecurity in some of those farmlands too, we need to ensure that we remove them, we delete them.
Absolutely.
But Ibrahim, we're saying that food is not like the major, but if you don't...
No, I'm not saying it's not the major. I've eaten this morning, what are you saying? It's the major.
See, for me, if security is dealt with completely, there will be a drastic drop in food inflation.
Yeah, there is a direct correlation.
Yes,
of course.
Yes, because, the farmers are not going to farm. They are afraid for their lives.
Yes.
But how do you talk about food when you are not producing food?
But see, my issue now is that they're percentages and numbers, they're very vague metrics, right? Yeah. Because when different organizations can come up with different percentages, when we look at what the CBN is saying, the percentage that food inflation has dropped to, and then when we look at the World Food Program coming out to say 1/3 of Nigerians are facing
it's not
food insecurity.
No. The thing is, the only institution or organization that is authorized to give us the stats is the NBS, National Bureau of Statistics.
So we then disregard all the other
even the IMF, Bretton Woods of this world, even the IMF is saying that the economy of Nigeria has been stabilized.
We are not saying
WTO
it's not
also confirmed
Brian.
it. So no, the thing is, it's a gradual effect. See, it is easier for for a house to be demolished, and then you find it difficult to raise it back up. But in terms of economy, it's the other way around. It is easier for prices to spike up and to now bring it down. It's a gradual process. So are we seeing the process?
But what we're saying right now, and I love the fact that we're very passionate about this topic. Because man must chop. But at the end of the day, I'm just saying that I wanted to get to a point that when we go to the market, we can buy a lot without 10,000 naira, because 10,000 cannot cook any soup.
We are going there.
Sorry,
Brian. Yeah. We are getting to a point where it will have an obvious effect on food prices. We are getting there. And one of the things I must give a big up to the administration is the success in stabilizing the naira. The next thing is to strengthen the naira so it will compete favorably with other currencies, especially the American dollar.
Of course.
We are getting there.
And at the end of the day, we just want cheaper food, and I'm sure we're definitely getting there. But we're going to go on a quick break, and when we come back, Olamide is ready for the newspaper review. Don't go anywhere. This is